Also, looking pretty cold out there, but things are going to get better as soon as we get through the week. Just gotta get through today, basically, and things will start to warm up here pretty fast. Well, welcome back into the Morning Blend. We have Kyle joining us from Klaas Financial, and I think 2025 is the year that people need to start talking about retirement, start saving, because it's never too early and it's never too late to start.
Right, that's absolutely right. Yeah, so one of the first things when you're thinking about how to start saving for retirement, we're already assuming that you've got your basic financial planning, not carrying credit card debt, that kind of stuff. But most people nowadays have access to like a 401k or a 403b through their employer.
Yeah.
So you really want to at least start there. And many employers will give you like a match. So if you put money in, they'll actually match what they're putting in too. That is free money. So we as financial planners love that.
You max out your contribution. That is every financial planner I've ever spoken to. That's always their number one recommendation. But for people that are kind of like, I don't even know the first start, whether they're younger and just starting to save for retirement, or they've started to work a bit and realized, oh, I need to start saving now. What is the first step you guys recommend?
Yeah, the first step, as I mentioned, if you're getting a match from an employer, definitely take at least advantage of that. So a lot of them are 5%. If you match or if you put in 5, they'll match 3, something like that. Because like I said, that's free money and everybody likes that. So that's definitely the first step when it comes to retirement planning for sure.
And then when we get into the kind of the meat and potatoes of when you start looking at different accounts, different options, some people get confused. They're like, well, I have a Roth IRA or I have a 401k, and sometimes people get confused what the differences between those are, if you want to explain.
Yeah, definitely. So traditional 401k, that would be you put the money in, you get a tax deduction when you put it in, and then it grows tax deferred. So you don't pay tax on the money until you start pulling it out. So that's a very common option. The other one is a Roth, and a lot of people have heard these. These have become very popular. They really just came about in the 70s and 80s. And that means if you use a Roth contribution, you're putting the money in, you've already paid tax on the money, it goes in and grows tax-free, and it comes out tax-free. So everybody loves tax-free money. So Roths are a good option for a lot of people too.
Those are things that you kind of want to start thinking about if you're like, okay, I've started my nest egg, if you will. I have it in a savings account. That's probably the best time to start transferring it into those kind of wealth growing type of accounts. But like, when is the best time to start saving? Like, is it too late if you're in your 40s and you just started saving, or is it too early if you're in that younger age range? What do you think?
Yeah, so the earlier you can start, the better. So definitely if you're getting your first job out of school, we're used to living on not a lot of money, so it's easier just to put it away from the beginning versus letting life happen and then you get into your 40s. Sometimes it gets harder to actually save money at that point. But it's never too late to start, because even if you're starting your 40s, you've still got 20, 25 years for that money to not only put in, but also grow on top of that.
So start thinking
earlier.
Today. Start now, start thinking earlier rather than later, the moral of the story. But also we mentioned those Roth IRAs, 401ks, the difference between them, but sometimes people don't have access to them, their employer doesn't provide it, or maybe they're an independent contractor. What kind of options do those folks have for retirement planning?
Yeah, so generally most people are going to have the availability to contribute to a traditional IRA. If you have earned income, for the most part, you're going to be able to contribute to an IRA. If you're self-employed, you actually have a few other options. They have something called SEP IRAs and also something called solo 401ks. So everyone kind of has an option to save for retirement. All the contribution limits and things like that vary depending on which kind of product you choose. But that's where, again, talking with a financial planner and what your options are.
That's where they call you, because I definitely can't answer those questions for you, but Kyle definitely can, and anyone at Klaas Financial. But as we keep looking at retirement, people ask all the time, how much do I need to save? I can't predict how expensive things will be in the future. And you guys don't have a crystal ball either, but there are ways that you can kind of help figure out almost that magic amount, but at least prepare people for what they may need.
Yeah, absolutely. So many people, this is the question we get the most common, and it was a big article back in Money Magazine back in the day where it's like, is $1 million enough and things like that? And it was at that time. It's still a good goal to shoot for, just because it gives you that opportunity to have a decent income off of it if you are able to save that amount of money. So definitely $1 million is a good goal to have, but it doesn't mean that if you don't hit $1 million, you're not going to be able to retire, because everybody's lifestyle is different, right? Some people just want to hang out with their grandkids, do a couple trips a year. Some people want to go to Europe for 3 months, right? Those are two very different kind of retirements that people are looking at. So it really comes down to what your personal idea of retirement is, honestly.
I think that's huge. A lot of people don't realize that. They think there's just a blanket number that everyone needs, but I think you guys are really good of kind of asking people early on, what do you think your retirement's going to look like? How do you see your future going? And that, I think, gets people thinking differently. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, my favorite definition definition of retirement is funded contentment, right? So as long as you got enough money to do
Never heard that before. That's pretty good.
as long as you have enough money to do whatever makes you happy, then that's what your retirement should be going for.
Oh, that's really cool. What are some of the things that people don't think about when they're saving for retirement? Things that are an expense that maybe you didn't anticipate, that you're like, I didn't think I needed to save this much to cover that. Those kind of just pop up things that people realize once they retire. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, generally a lot of people are nervous about health insurance.
Yeah.
Good thing is that Medicare covers a lot of that kind of stuff, especially if you get a supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan. So it really, the biggest things that can jump out at you are big one-time expenses, right? A big expense around the house, or a car needs replaced or something like that.
Yeah.
Those definitely pop up. But again, that's where good financial planning, having that little nest egg on the side to kind of handle those things that life throws at you is a huge step of this.
Yeah,
too,
you think those things go away once you're in retirement, but unfortunately, life still happens even when you're retired. And a lot of people say, 65, that's the age, that's when you can retire, but that's not necessarily the case.
No, it's not. Everybody's number, again, is different. And, you don't want to retire. You want to retire to something, not from something, right? So many people, they just focus on retirement because maybe they don't enjoy their job, or they just want to spend more time with friends and family, which is great. But also some people, love what they do, so they don't really think that they're ever going to fully retire, right?
Yeah.
They're going to keep doing something. So again, it's a very personal question of what your goals are for retirement and what it's going to look like for you. So
I was like, there's so many things that go into
There
this.
is,
And
yeah.
I'm sure lots of folks come to you guys, they're like, I've never used a financial advisor. I've never needed one, but you guys do a lot to help folks.
we do, yep. That's, like we said, our focus is retirement planning. But to get good retirement planning, if you start earlier, then it's good financial planning to put you on that right step. So
How do people get in contact with you? Is there a specific number they should call? Should they just go to your website? How do you guys like people to contact?
So our website has a lot of good information on it. We go into a lot more in-depth topics like these traditional 401ks, Roth 401ks. We have videos, we have articles that we've written, that kind of stuff. So just klaasfinancial.com. You can also request an appointment with us right on our website, and we've got our email on there as well. So
There you go. We also have the information on the screen. So their address, 5707 Perry Ridge Lane in Loves Park. There's a phone number as well if you don't do computers. I know some people don't. 877-8440. And once again, klaasfinancial.com. They're going to get you taken care of in terms of all things retirement, and really any financial advice folks might have, you guys could probably answer for them.
Yep, absolutely. Like I said, retirement planning is definitely our specialty, but we can answer any questions that people have when it comes to anything in financial planning.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate the time. I'm sure I could ask you about 10 million more things when it comes to retirement, but we do have to take a break. Thank you once again for being here, Kyle. We appreciate it. We'll be right back after the break. And one more time, klaasfinancial.com. See all their resources, get the information, and get connected with an advisor there. We'll be right back.